Okay, great. All right, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our fearless, illustrious leader. And he hates when I do that. Steve is such a good guy, but he is worthy of recognition. So, Steve Ashby, Dr. Steve Ashby.
Thank you, April. All right, is the microphone working? Okay, all right. So April needs no introduction, and she certainly needs no encouragement. We do have this is a great room. If we don't have this many people, we would open up that. Are there any seats left? People see any seats? All right, well, okay, standing room only. Isaac, quite a turnout. Well, so thanks for the introduction, and I wanted to welcome everyone here. We've got a great speaker lined up. I wanted to say a few words. I want to begin by thanking the Black Community Connection Resource Group, in particular our leaders April and Adam Davis for championing the laboratory celebration of Black History Month. Now, for those who are keeping track, you may, wait a second. July is not Black History Month. But during February, when we had Black History Month, we also had one heck of a lot of snow that kept canceling things. So, how many prefer celebrating Black History Month in July versus having the snow in February? All right, so we'll take the snow. It did cause a lot of delays around the campus, including many well-planned activities. We're happy to see that those are have been rescheduled, including some of our seminar series and other activities, including the Taste of Soul that's coming up. And so we're going to have that coming here in a moment. I also wanted to thank Tanisha Meadows, who came up briefly on the stage, for leading our BCC Early Career Professionals, who arranged for today's speaker, and I'll introduce him in a moment. Meanwhile, we'll bring in some extra chairs. Thank you very much. So at PNNL, we are committed to providing a work environment where creativity and innovation thrive, and what we know is that central to that is not just in having diverse work groups, but also being inclusive in how we incorporate those different views and perspectives. And whether it's a diverse set of disciplines, diverse set of backgrounds, or diverse set of perspectives, it's all really essential to making sure we get the best product, whether it's a research outcome, what we're doing to advance the how we do work at the laboratory, or just in how we treat one another in general. So I'm very grateful to what are now 6 employee resource groups that have come up in different areas, and they all play an important role in supporting and advancing our commitment to diversity and inclusion. Each of these 6 work groups, resource groups, are organized around a shared set of characteristics, experiences, purposes related to some aspect of diversity. They're all employee-driven, but stewarded by a member of the leadership team. And as part of its charter, the BCC, which is stewarded by Vincent Brenton, our general counsel, works to connect newly relocated African Americans with PNNL staff and local organizations to build a greater sense of community. The BCC also leads various activities and events to celebrate the legacy and culture of African Americans, such as the Taste of Soul potluck that follows the talk today. And as an attendee here, one of the benefits you get, as if listening to Mr. Butts is not going to be enough, and sure it would be, you also get the bonus of going to the head of the line for food service right after this, all right? And if you know from last year's event, getting a chance to cut to the head of the line is going to be a big deal because the food goes fast at this event, all right? So are we getting like special tickets, or are we just, honor system says, because I plan on cutting in line, all right? Well, actually, I'm told I'm planning on serving a little bit, so anyway, we're happy to have a number of folks here for this, and we do have a great speaker lined up. His name is Mr. Isaac Butts. He's an author, motivational speaker, and a youth expert. He's the founder of Wake Up Nation and a related foundation that provides leadership experiences to empower and improve the lives of our youth, including those without the full financial means to participate. Isaac is a hometown success story. He was born here in Richland, excelled in athletics at Richland High School, where my children went. I was asking him when he graduated, a little bit before my kids, and he received multiple all-conference honors. He earned a full-ride scholarship to play football and obtained his college education at the University of Idaho. Experiences equipped him to and inspired him to launch Wake Up Nation shortly thereafter. Today, he will share his insights on how to lead healthy conversations to boost diversity and inclusion, which in turn results in a high-performing work environment we all cherish. So his story, the challenges that he has overcome, and his messages are an inspiration to many. So please join me now in welcoming Mr. Isaac Butts.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Hello. 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Usually I don't use a mic, but we are today. Man, I just appreciate phenomenal opportunity to be able to be here today with you guys and be able to talk about a very important topic. It's not only an important topic, I believe, for every single individual here, but I believe it's an important topic just for the country, for everyone to really delve into and understand the power of diversity and inclusion. And not only what it does for you individually, but what that does for your family, for the company that you work for, and how it will next level you to the next place in your life. So I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity. Like Mr. Ashby said, my name is Isaac Butts. I am the CEO of Wake Up Nation, also the president and founder of Wake Up Nation Foundation, and I'm also the vice president of marketing and physician relations for a group called Links Healthcare, a fast-growing group that's now national as well. So this is a small part of who I am. There's one thing, though, that we got to jump into before I do anything. My wife told me, listen, I don't care where you're speaking, wherever you're at, I don't care where it is, you better make sure you do this thing. And I said, yes, ma'am, I will. So before I start this, I am the husband of a dime. There she is. She would have got on me. My high school sweetheart, the peanut butter to my jelly, my everything, AKA boss lady. I am also the father of my man, Isaiah Solomon. He just turned 2 a couple weeks ago. He is the man. He ain't got no choice but to be great. He's the man. That's my guy. There's one thing that I do before I speak anywhere. I don't care if I'm speaking at a conference in front of tons of entrepreneurs, in front of thousands of kids at a conference. I don't care if I'm speaking in front of doctors. Now I can say I don't care if I'm speaking in front of scientists and researchers. Like, I don't care where I'm at. There's one thing that I always do, and that's this. Everybody got to point up like this. Everybody got to do it. Everybody. Don't be the one that don't do it. Everybody got to point up like that, and there's only one reason why we do that, because that's where we going, baby, all the way up. All the way up. All right, baby. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into this thing, diversity and inclusion. It's, like I said, it's a very important topic. In my young career, I've experienced a lot of different elements as I've climbed the corporate ladder, started organizations, and actually traveled across this country. So I believe that some of the stories, some of the things that we're going to talk about today are very relevant to everything that you guys experience on a day-to-day basis, and it's going to spark conversation. That's the reason why we're here. We're here to spark conversation. So it's going to make you start to think. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, we're going to go ahead and deep dive into the power of diversity and inclusion. We're going to look at how it will affect your life, how it will affect your career. We're going to dive a little deeper into how it's going to next level your life. But we're not going to go ahead and dive too deep. You dive too deep, things get a little bit weird down there. All right, so we're going to keep it kind of, right at the right level, all right? We're going to keep it at the right level, all right? So today, what we're going to talk about misunderstanding intentions and how that affects your day-to-day work, right? Misunderstanding intentions, the importance of just being you, who you are, the unique values, the reason why you were hired here, the importance of that, the importance of finding your self-value and what you can honestly contribute to this organization and how you can next level the organization when you find yourself and understand who you uniquely are. Also, to activating your value for the company, and then also creating a safe work environment, a diverse work environment that is very inclusive. Those are the things that we are going to cover today. So first and foremost, I know myself, misunderstanding intentions is like a huge problem. In my organization, I know for a fact, people I manage, it's like the main problem is communication and misunderstanding intentions. It's literally, to me, these are the biggest barriers to growth in the workplace. Is it different out? It might be different out here. Is it the same out here? Raise your hand if you've experienced, like, they don't communicate for nothing out. They made the decision, we were supposed to vote on it. Communication is a huge barrier for growth, right? It just is, everywhere that you go. And as I was getting ready for this thing, and I was sitting and thinking, like, when was a moment where breaking the communication barrier happened in my life? And I was like, oh, that was it, boom, took me back to college. Right, my freshman year, I played football at the University of Idaho. And I go into my athletic academic advisor. I loved her. I walked in. Anna, she said, sit down, Isaac. I said, yes, ma'am. She says, listen, you need a class. You're short a class. I said, okay, what do you want to put me in? Where should I be at? She said, there's a calculus class. It's phenomenal. You need to jump in. I'm thinking, okay, awesome. She says, listen, this is a phenomenal teacher. He's great. Everybody I put in this class, they've always passed, okay? I said, yes, ma'am. Awesome, great. She said, listen, but, there's a caveat. I said, what is it? He said, there's a slight language barrier, okay? He has a really strong accent, and some people, they can't get past it, but he's always passed everybody. I was like, well, language barrier, pass. Put me in there. I'll do it. We'll make it work, right? So she said, listen, there's one thing, though. You better make sure that you sit in the front of the class. I was like, why? She said, because they can't fail you if they see your face every single day. So sit in the front of the class. I said, okay. I said, yes, ma'am, I will. She said, but that means you better make sure you show up. I said, okay, I will. So boom, first day of school comes. I walk into this class, walk in stadium-style seating. Like, there has to be over 100 kids in there. I'm like, oh, I'm home, right? Breathing it in. I walk down the steps. And as I'm walking down, I'm surveying, and I see the front row. I'm like, okay, there's 8 people on the front row. All right, perfect. I just need to find my seat. Now, I'm thinking I'm sitting on the front row, not because I won't get failed, not because they won't fail me, but because I got to meet these people on the front row. They're the smartest ones in the class, right? So I survey. I look to the far left. Boom, there they are. I'm going to introduce myself to everybody. I'm going to have one friend at least at the front row. So I go down. I make my way to the left. Walk over. Shake the hand. How are you doing? Hi, I'm Isaac. Nice to meet you. How are you doing, man? This semester is going to be phenomenal. I've only heard great things about this teacher. It's going to be great. Nice to meet you. Looking up at me like, bruh, you are weird, dude. I'm thinking to myself, you're not the one. Okay. I look down to the left. I see 2 people sitting at the left. They look at me. We make eye contact. They look away immediately, as if to say, you better not come say hi to me. Then they sit back in their seat, and as they sit back, a face emerges, and he looks over, smiles, and waves at me. And I was like, that's him. I walk over to him. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Isaac Butts? Hey, I'm Ken. I said, Ken, what's going on, baby? Hey, man, you pumped up for this class? I'm pumped up, man. I've only heard great reviews about this teacher. It's going to be phenomenal, right? He says, yes. I say, where are you from? He said, Boston. I was like, awesome, man. I ain't never been to Boston. What's it like over there? He said, it's crazy, man. You got to go. I said, all right, cool. He said, where are you from? I said, Tri-Cities. He said, where's Tri-Cities? I said, you heard of Seattle? He was like, yeah, close enough. It's in Washington. He said, all right, cool, awesome. I said, yeah, man. So, hey, let me ask you this, man. Like, how do you pronounce the professor's name? I don't know how to pronounce his name. I was like, what is it? He's like, I think it's Nugent. I said, okay, perfect, Nugent. When he comes in, I got to meet him. My coach said I got to meet all the professors. It's a thing so they don't fail me or whatever. So I'm going to go meet him. So I said, all right, cool. So we're sitting there. Professor Nugent walks in, right? He's writing on the board, getting ready to start class. I'm sitting there thinking, now's my opportunity. I'm going to be the first one that he speaks to. Yes. I walk up to him. Hello, Mr. Nugent. He ignoring me. He ain't heard me. So I thought maybe I didn't say it with my chest. So, hello, Mr. Nugent. He ignored. He ain't say nothing. What's going on here? So I tapped him on the shoulder. It's like, Professor Nugent, how you doing? He turned around and looked at me like, gave me this real awkward look. I was like, hi, my name's Isaac. So happy to meet you, man. It's going to be a great semester. I just wanted to introduce myself. I think it's going to be phenomenal. He's just giving me this fake smile. I have my hand out ready to shake his hand. He's looking at me. He ain't shaking my hand. I was expecting at least a dap, something in that moment. It was awkward. I'm thinking to myself, what do I do right now? Do I put my hands together? Should I bow right now? No. Don't bow. That'd be defensive. Don't do that. Okay. All right. Oh, I don't know. Boom. I walk back over to Ken. I'm like, Ken, dude, this guy is not cool. I thought he was cool. He is not a cool teacher. Okay, it's cool. It will work out. It will be all right. We'll be all right. So he begins to go through the syllabus. And he's explaining the syllabus. And he says, hello, my name is Mr. Wynn. And I was like, he said, Win? He said, yeah. I'm like, I called him Nugent. Maybe that's why. Either he don't know how to pronounce his name or I'm crazy. that's why he ain't said nothing. Okay. My name's Mr. Wynn. And he goes through the syllabus. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not going to lie, like, it was hard to understand what he was saying. Like, I could not understand and pick it up. I was trying to. I was just getting, like, bits and pieces, right? Bits and pieces. So I'm like, well, maybe when he starts throwing numbers up there, I know numbers. That's like the universal language, so we'll be good, right? I know numbers. So my man starts going through numbers. And he's starting these equations. And he's like, nat 2/6 divided by the square root. And I'm like, nat 2. And I looked over to Ken. I said, Ken, look, man, I think I'm pretty smart. I ain't never heard of nat 2. What's nat 2? He said, I don't know. We're listening. He said, nat 2/4 divided by, he said nat 2 again. He's breaking out high-level vocabulary on the first day. I don't know what nat 2 is. He said, no, actually, I think he's saying negative. I said, what? He's saying negative? Nat 2, negative? I checked out at that point. I'm like, this ain't going to work. I can't understand a word this man has said. This is my grade that's on the line. So you know there's that period where you can drop a class and be good, right? So I was like, I'm going to try it the next day, see if things get a little bit better, right? I go the next day, he's still doing this nat 2 thing. I'm like, this ain't going to work out. Nat 2, I don't know what nat 2 is. I need to be able to understand. So I go to Anna. I'm like, Anna, listen, I know you said he don't fail people, but I can't understand him, and I'm going to probably fail, even if you see me every day. So I need you to put me in another class with somebody that speaks English plain. I need to be able to hear. I need to understand. She's like, you're making a mistake. I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't understand him, please. She's like, okay, I'll put you in another class. I'm like, all right, perfect. Switch me to a class, English speaking. I could understand. Phenomenal. Great. Perfect. Clear. Couple weeks passed by. I see my boy Ken walking through the campus. He looked like he frustrated. I'm like, yeah, because you don't understand nothing he's saying, huh? I walk up to him with a big grin on my face, like, Ken, what's going on, man? How's it going in Mr. Wynn's class? You winning in there or what? He looked at me like, oh, Isaac, what's going on, man? How you doing, man? Well, you ain't been in class. Where you been at, man? I was like, I couldn't do it. I had to drop the class, man. I couldn't understand nothing he was saying. He looked at me, he said, oh, I know, right? Dude, it was horrible the first couple of days, but after the first couple of days, like, it cleared up for me. Like, I could understand everything he was saying. I was like, okay. He was like, on top of all of that, yo, he's the only professor I know that if somebody raises their hand to ask a question, he goes through it, like, in depth, like he's next level. And then he gave us a guarantee if we reach out, he'll reach back to us in an hour. I tried it twice. He got back to me in 30 minutes. And on top of all of that, he said that this is his last semester at the school, and he wants everybody to pass his class. I thought I dodged a bullet. I didn't. I was like, what? What you mean? He's like, yeah, how's your class going? I'm like, dang, it's not. Check this out. What if we took that approach to our every single day life? Like when there comes a moment where there's a communication barrier, where you don't understand where somebody's coming from, you don't get their background, you don't get what they're doing, where they're at. What if we took that to our everyday lives? How many opportunities will we be throwing away for greatness and growth? See, what I see in the corporate world is that oftentimes people are brought in. Where I'm at, I recruit doctors from all over the world. They come in, it's like, I can't really understand them on the interview, but I liked him, though. I liked what he brought. I liked his intellect. I liked his background. I think he could work out here. Well, we'll just see when he gets here if he can interact correctly. Well, let's try it out. They get here, and they're phenomenal, next level. But oftentimes, we walk into situations we don't understand where somebody's coming from, their background, and first things first, boom, nope, I'm dropping the class. I ain't got no time for him. I'm dropping the class. What if we did that? Who got kids in here? Who's got kids? Yeah, like I told you, I got my son. I'll never forget. When he was about 1, he started trying to do this English thing, right? And what if when your kids start talking, they like, you looking at them like, I don't know what you're saying. And look, you dropped the class right then. Yeah, you ain't going to do that. Right? You're going to try to look at them and dive into what they're doing, interact into what they're doing so that not only can they grow, but you can grow as well. See, what you got to understand is that people come from different backgrounds, people have different experiences, and you got to be willing to look past the communication barrier and see what it is that they can teach you. A lot of times we sit and we think like, oh, you're from so-and-so place, I can't learn nothing from you. I'm dropping your class. Or oh, don't tell me they hired somebody else from there. The last person they brought in here, I can't learn nothing from them. You drop their class. Oh, come on, the last person that looked like they was weak. You drop their class. Instead of working past it so that you can next level. Right? So check this out. In those moments where the communication barrier is there and you allow the wall to come up, what happens is you are literally throwing away opportunities for growth. Because people can teach you things that you would never know. Whatever level they're at, you can learn from everyone. And another thing that happens is that you start to misunderstand intentions. Off the cusp, you got your analogy down. My theory's correct. I know who you are. Who's done that before? Who's that? Come on, don't be bashful up in here. Yeah, I know who you are. I seen you. I seen you. I know what you like. Who done that? We all been there. Misunderstanding intentions, all because you're not willing to break that line of communication, that barrier of communication, and step into their world and see what they can offer you, see what you can offer them, see how the growth can grow, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, like, when did that happen to me? And I was like, oh, yep, second job. Second job. My second job, I'm working at HAPO, right? I go to HAPO. I'm like, listen, I want to be a loan officer here. I'm trying to get a job. I interviewed out at PNNL. They ain't hiring me. So y'all hired me today, though. They ain't hiring me. So I was like, man. So I go to HAPO. Boom. They brought me on. They said, listen, we don't got any spots for the teller, for the loans, but you could be a teller. I was like, a teller? I didn't get this education to be no teller, but okay, I'll work my way up. So I start as a teller. I was killing it. I wanted to be in the Richland branch. They put me in West Pasco. I was killing it. My sales were next level. My communication skills next level. Everybody loved Isaac. People would wait in line. No, Isaac. I don't. Like, yes, that's right, Isaac. Right? So I'm sitting there, and there was one day where migrant workers would come in out there, and they'd cash their checks. And the one thing I hated was I couldn't help them. They'd come up, I'd be like, I can help you here. They'd be, Espanol. And I'd be like, dang, no. And I'd sit there and twiddle my thumbs as all of them come in to do their thing. So I looked at my homegirl, Socorro, and I was like, Socorro, I need you to give me like that 101 Spanish course, please. She said, okay, yeah, I got you. Lunch, she did a week course for me during lunch. I was like, awesome. So we going through it. She's like, listen, ¿cómo estás? And they walk, okay. She said, when you say ¿cómo estás, they'll say bien y tú, and then you say bien. Let's try. I said, okay. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, ¿y tú? Bien. She said, good. I said, yes, I'm getting it, right? She's like, okay, perfect. Okay, that's good. Now, if they want to deposit in checking or savings, you say, deposito en cheques oros. Let me see. I like, deposito en cheques oros. She said, oh, good. I said, yes, great. She said, all right, look, you got to know the cash counting too. 10, 20, 30. I said, all right, cool, I'm ready. Boom, next week comes up, they come in to start depositing their checks. I'm like, perfect. They walk up to the line. I'm sitting there. I'm open. I can help you here. Espanol. I'm like, un poquito, Espanol, un poquito. She's like, what? Like, she starts to walk forward. I hit her with the, ¿cómo estás? She said, bien. ¿Y tú? I said, bien. She said, ooh, very good. I was like, yeah, I'm killing them. Deposito en cheques oro. She was like, oh. I was like, yeah. Boom, put it in. Did my thing, right? Did my thing, even counted back them. 10, 20. She said, very good. I said, thank you. I'm feeling myself. I'm looking at Socorro like, she's looking at me like, they coming up to me like, you can speak Spanish? I was like, yes. I called my wife. I said, I can speak to Spanish speakers. I'm bilingual, baby. They need to give me a raise. She said, okay. I'm feeling myself, right? I'm feeling myself. The next day, a gentleman walks in. He had on what looked like migrant clothes, right? He was a Hispanic gentleman. He walks in, and I'm wide open. He walks straight in. There's nobody in line. I put my hand up. I'm feeling myself like yesterday was a win. We're going to keep it going today. He walks straight up. ¿Cómo estás? Look, walk forward. I'm like, maybe he ain't heard me right. I didn't do the accent right or something. Deposito on the cheques ahorros. He looked at me, he said, oh, I know what this is. Oh, you think because I'm brown I speak Spanish. Oh, y'all racist up in here. I was like, what? He said, I came in here because y'all deposited my check in the wrong account last week. Oh, and y'all racist. I'm looking like, oh my God, no. What you mean? He said, oh, I see how y'all is. It's because I'm brown, isn't it? I was like, no, it's not. What? What's going on here? Where's your manager? I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, where's your manager? I'm like, oh my goodness, I misread and overcommitted big time. Where's your manager at? I'm like, oh my God, okay, right this way, sir. Dang, what just happened? Go sit down in the manager's office. She said, what happened, sir? I'm so sorry. We're not racist here. We're like, I don't know what happened. I'm sitting here like, am I racist? I'm not racist. But why did you do that? You made that was racist. I'm confused. What's going on? I'm confused. I'm like, I'm not. I'm sitting here evaluating the situation. Like, dang. Lack of communication is the only reason why we in this mess. I should have gave him the opportunity to tell me, like I did with everybody last week, that they need a Spanish speaker. But instead, the communication barrier was there, and I wasn't willing to break it. And all of a sudden, I misunderstand his intention. Now, this was the worst part. Not only did he think I was a racist, but every time he came in, our interaction was horrible. He wouldn't even come to me. All because I wasn't willing to break the line of communication. Like, his experience was horrible from there on out. Every time he came in, when he seen me, it was like, oh, I remember, yeah, that's that racist guy right there. So you're thinking like, what? At that moment in time, I wasn't willing to be diverse enough in my thinking to understand that I don't know what I got to, hold up, let me dissect this thing first before we jump there. How many people have done that before? You just jump straight in, like, you overcommitted. And then you like, what? I don't even know what just happened. Because you're not willing to take that extra step. Understand where they're coming from. Understand what they need. Understand what their aspects are that they can bring to the table, and what you can bring to the table. You just jump straight to the conclusion. Oh, I know what this person needs. I've seen that person before. I know exactly how you interact with people. I know it. My boss at my last job, they look just like you. I know exactly how you work. I had an employee that looked just like you. I know how you work. You put a wall up. And when you're interacting with them, there's this wall. And the worst part is that you're not giving them all of you because there's a wall up, and they're not giving you all of them because there's a wall up. All of a sudden, you're getting a diluted version of who you are and who they are. Tell me, how in the world is a company supposed to succeed when everybody's walking around diluted? It won't work. You guys are here for a reason, to change this world. And you got to be willing to think in your mind, go to those moments. I know that you're seeing them right now where you're like, I could have played that a little bit different. The next time that comes up, I'm going to play this a little bit different because I didn't take a second to understand where they're coming from, what they feel, what they've gone through, their life experiences. I wasn't able to. I didn't want to see the diversity. I liked my lane and where I was at. But you got to understand, you never grow unless you go into foreign soil. What am I talking about? I'm saying you never grow unless you step into a place or into an experience that you ain't never been before. If you've been there before, you already know how the game works. You want to see growth happens? You think outside the box. You allow them to come into your world. You start thinking like, look, please hire people that are different. Hire people that are to come into our department. Let me see something different so that, yes, we can see how this thing can grow. I want to see different backgrounds, ages, everything. I want to see what we can do so we can put that melting pot together so we can next level. Unfortunately, sometimes we act like we know someone else better than they know themselves, and we ain't never even met them before. Who been there? Dude, I'm not going to lie, dude. The one thing I hated when Obama was elected was people used to come up to me, Obama! And I'd be like, what, dog? You even think I do? How you know I voted for Obama? Like, what? Yeah, okay. But how you know? You know, or you see the gentleman with the big truck, he got on the Wrangler hat with the shoes, and you, Trump supporter, where's the Trump 2020 bumper sticker? Yep, there it is, I knew it. Or every single person that's Hispanic, they have to speak Spanish, right? That's the worst. We was going through at work, we was going through all of bilingual doctors, right? And they was doing the list. I was like, hey, y'all miss Mr. Lopez. They was like, he can't speak Spanish. I was like, what? I thought he could. We just go there. We just go straight there. We think we understand without even trying to step into that realm. And what happens is, again, you dilute yourself and you dilute what they can bring to the table. You can never next level. You're not just being you. Diversity and inclusion, the power behind it is that it allows you to be you at another level. It allows you to access your unique values. See, what happens so often is that you're trying to act like what you think people need you to act like. So you sit back and you're like, if I act like this, well, maybe they'll accept me into their circle. Because you think that that's what they want you to act like. And they think that they know you, so they done gave you the whoop wop. Now you marching to their drum. Right? Or you say, well, if I say, maybe I'll get the promotion at that point. Or you say, if they see me do this, maybe they'll let me into their circle. It's like you're not even locked in on who you are anymore. You can't even offer the right information that you studied. You spent hours, you were staying up at night. You spent all this time to get this education, and now it's diluted, and they hired you so that you could come in here and next level, but you're not giving your full self because all you've done is just broke down that barrier. The barrier's there, you ain't broke it down yet. You can't next level. You got to be willing to look past that. The difference is everything else because they hired you for a reason. They hired you for a reason. That's the thing that's so beautiful about this organization. You got people from literally all around the world here. And it's not just for you guys in this community here, it's for the world. What y'all doing is for the world. You're doing the world a disservice if you don't understand the value of diversity and inclusion. Because you can't next level. You won't give us that next level project. I think I read something like they bring in the NASA thing. They doing that here? I know, I saw that. I was like, word? They doing that here? That's crazy. What if you ain't on your game? What if you held somebody back from bringing that idea that was going to make sure that thing was safe? Because you know how they are, right? You know. What if they're like, I don't know how to, voice my opinion. What if? You got to understand the power in diversity and in inclusion because you guys are here to change the world. Literally. That's what you guys are here for. Diversity and inclusion, it creates a high-performing work environment. So in that, you got to find who you are, your unique value. So I was sitting back and I was thinking, man, I'll never forget when I was a youngin'. And I grew up with the last name Butts, all right? So it was like a death sentence to a small child. It was rough, I'm not gonna lie. So I'll never forget, I'd come into school, and when I come into school, they'd be like, what's up, Butts? And I'd be like, oh, they used to do their lips like that, too. Like, Butts! And sometimes the spit would fly off their lips and hit me in the face, and it'd be double disrespect, just what's up, Butts? I'd be like, dog, And not only that, I went to Richland. I was the blackest kid in the whole school. So I walked through, they'd be like, darkness! Darkness is spreading. And I'd be like, what? And I'd be like, hey, man, you better not. And they'd be like, shut up, Butts. And I'd be like, dog, they getting me. Not only that, but I was the skinniest kid in school. I was so skinny. So I'd walk in, they'd be like, Skeletron is in the building. They'd be like, hey, are you malnutrition? Are they feeding you? I'm like, what? Don't you talk about my shut up Butts. I'd be like, dog. They used to get your boy. Slowly stripping my value away from me because they weren't willing to be inclusive and understand my background and where I come from and my lane. Very undiverse at moments. And I remember one day I came home, there was a park around the corner. little alleyway. There was a park there. I go down the alleyway, I get some shots up, and I felt a little bit better after I got them shots up. I came back to my house. I was sitting on my front porch and with my head in my hands, and my dad came in. He used to work out at Battelle and Bechtel and everywhere else. He did 45 years out here. He came home and he was like, son, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. He was like, no, what's wrong? I was like, okay, listen. I hate the cards that I've been dealt. Hate them. What are you talking about? I said, listen, Dad, why I gotta be so black? He looking at me, he black as the ace of spades too. He like, what? I said, Dad, what was Michael Jackson on? Like that Revitiligo? I just want to come back to like Caramel or something. What was he on? He was like, what? Is that it? I was like, no, there's another thing. Dad, why I gotta be so skinny? Like, why am I skinny? Mom, she's healthy and she looks like she's fit and healthy. Like, it's your genes. Look at your ankles, man. Why am I so skinny? Putting in work. I'm not getting big. He was like, are you serious? Is that what it is? I'm like, no, one more thing, Dad. The last name. Look, man, you could have changed the last name. Change the pronunciation, like it's Butts. You could have said Boots. Like, yes, I know it's spelled Butts, but pronounced Boots. You could have done something. Help your boy out here. He was shaking his head like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. I don't want to go back to school. I don't feel like I fit in there. He's like, but you're a starter. I was like, yeah, but that's just my athletics. Like, people don't respect me because of these things. He was like, look, son, you're looking at your cards all wrong. I said, what you mean? He said, listen, your blackness, it allows you to stick out the way other people are trying to stick out. They're trying to be the ones that are, everybody knows. Like you're black, you're already there, son. So you better make sure that when you go to school every single day, you're treating people at a whole nother level. You make sure that you're lifting them up, you're showing them exactly who you are, and making sure your legacy is legit, son. Actually, your blackness is actually a unique value. You're looking at your cards all wrong. I was like, okay, cool, all right. He was like, in the skinniness, son? Listen, you're already better than every single person out there, and they've all already reached their peak, son, and you're working 10 times harder than them. I promise you, if you keep your mindset right and you continue to work hard every day that you come into work, you work your butt off every day, you will soon surpass them, son, and you'll get to where you need to get to. Actually, your skinniness, son, is a unique value. I was like, all right, that's cool. All right. He was like, in the last name? I was like, yes, the last name. He was like, son, your last name is Butts because you're a leader. And I was like, Dad, that's horrible. No. No. I don't accept that one. No. He was like, no, listen, son. Listen, sit up. Listen. Okay. He said, your last name is Butts because you're a leader. When you're on that court and you flying by people, when you're on the field, you catching that ball and you going down the sideline, they got no choice but to look at the butts on the back of your uniform, son. The reason why your last name is Butts because you're a leader, son. You lead from the front. You don't lead from the back. So that means every single day that you come into school, you better be making sure you're putting in your best effort. You lead from the front. They got no choice but to be in the back, son. Your last name is Butts because you're a leader. That's why. You're looking at your cards all wrong. I was like, word, let me get some dap on that. I went into school the next day. Hi, Isaac Butts. Yes, that's me. Spitting in their face now. He told me, son, perspective is everything. Perspective is everything, son. What you bring to the table is everything. Don't ever allow somebody to dilute what you bring to the table. Don't ever dilute yourself because you're going to listen to somebody that doesn't want to be willing to be diverse enough to include you into what they're doing. What you bring to the table is unique. Nobody else got it. They're all unique values. That's why you're here. I'm trying to let you know that you can never be essential if you don't know your value. And every single person in here is essential. That's why you're a part of this team. You can't look to the person on your left or your right and think that you can do it by yourself. You need everybody. It has to be diverse. This thing has to work that way. Matter of fact, say to yourself, I'm essential. Oh, that was horrible. I'm essential. Now look to the person to your left, say, you're essential. Yeah, now look to your, I love it. Now look to your person on the right and say, you're essential. Yeah, that's right. I love that part every time. People are like, we're all essential. You're essential. What you bring to this world is essential. Listen, once you find yourself, your unique abilities, you find your why, and you can connect your why to this organization, and this organization can bloom at that moment. But you got to be willing to find yourself. Not only will you find yourself when you accept who you are, but you find yourself when you accept what everybody else can bring to the table. You're deluding yourself if you honestly believe that because somebody looks a certain way, somebody's a certain age, if you think that they can't teach you something, you've deluded yourself right there. That ain't you at the top shelf level, you know? Y'all don't grab bottom shelf, y'all grab top shelf, right? You think this company grabs bottom shelf? No, they grab top shelf. So if I brought you into my organization and you giving me bottom shelf, yeah, somebody done scammed me, right? You got to understand that you're essential. And once you understand that, you find your why. And understand this, your why makes the company tick. It's like a rhythm. It just makes it go like tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. Matter of fact, help me out. Tick, tock, help me out. Tick, tock, help me out. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. It's like beautiful music. You being who you are, being what you bring to the table, it makes this whole thing tick. I love it. You can stop. Phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, I've been some places where they can't clap on beat for nothing. Y'all killing it out here. What y'all bring to the table, each individual person, it makes this thing tick. Like this thing don't tick loud enough if you ain't being yourself. You can't change the world if you ain't being yourself. That's not the way it works. Like when you look at a clock, when you look inside of it, there's all these different pieces, all these different gadgets. None of them are the same. But they need each other to work properly. If one of them's not working correctly, it don't tick like it's supposed to talk. You know what I mean? It might be like talk, tick tock, tick tock. It ain't right. Sometimes it don't even work. You got to understand who you are and bring what you bring to the table. Not only that, but the most important part is that you need every single piece to work. Like I said, they hired you all for a reason. When you look at somebody and their background and their experience and what they bring to the table, you can't look down on what they bring in. They were hired for a reason. They probably did the sleepless nights like you did. They did everything that you did to get here. So why in the world, at any moment, do we sit back and we think they can't bring it? They can't do it. No, we're not. Nope. We don't even want them through here. I don't even want their opinion. Don't worry about it. But they did the same thing you did. You need every single piece. Every person is essential. You got to understand that. You got to grab that. Every person is essential. Diversity creates a high-performing and safe environment. That's what it does. Why is that? Why do I say that? Because when you have an inclusive environment, people feel safe enough to be who they are at the highest level. And then all of a sudden, the sauce that you're bringing out is like sweet. It's like that good sauce. Like that mama sauce where you want every single drip. Yes, give it to me, please. Licking the plate clean type. It don't taste right if you ain't got all the ingredients. We need every single person in here, and you can't try to exclude something that's, nah, we need all of it. This is gumbo. We need the good stuff, right? Some of y'all from down south was like, yes, take me home, right? But it's important, it's valuable. It creates a safe work environment. So you got to be willing to be a company that's unafraid to go against the current. You got to be unafraid to go against the current. You got to be a department that's unafraid to go against the current. I know that it's been working for years. I get it, but why haven't you exceeded it? You're stagnant. Why haven't y'all exceeded expectations yet? You're stagnant right now. Well, the reason why you're stagnant is because you ain't willing to listen to what she had a good idea. He had an amazing idea, but you think that you know everything, right? And you don't know. We can't. Nope, that's not how this is going to work. Uninclusive, very undiverse, and you wonder why you ain't next leveled yet. I see some of y'all in here like, Tried to tell them last week. They wasn't listening. They better be in here today. That's just the way it works. These people, when people are, they're professionals. When they're hiring people, they're going through a painstaking process. I know. I made it through the last round. I know how painstaking it is. They ain't making mistakes when they're bringing people out here. Understand their value. Be willing to adopt that and swim against the current. Because only dead fish go with the flow. Why ain't we next leveled yet? I don't know. Yeah, you just going with the flow. Yeah, we don't need them, but we good. Yeah, I ain't gonna fall off. You gotta be willing to be different. That's what this organization's all about. That's why it's respected across the nation. You gotta understand where you're working at, have some pride in what you're working, who you work for and where you're working at. And you look to the person to your left and to your right, person in front of you, behind you, and you respect what they bring to the table. Because they got something you don't. I'm gonna end this with this, right? Story. You guys probably have heard it before. It's about a young man. His name was Johnny. He lived in this town before electricity came. He lived in this town a long time ago. And from a young age all the way to being a grown man, he had one job. And his job was to be a lamplighter in the city. So he would go and he'd light the lamps down the streets. That was his job. He loved this job too. Like, you give Johnny another opportunity, he ain't doing it until he was old. It didn't even pay that good, but he loved it. Somebody walked up to Johnny like, Johnny, you're such a bright individual. Like, why are you being a lamplighter? Like, don't you want more? And he looked at them, and he looked them in the face, and with all seriousness in his heart and his soul, he said, the reason why I love being a lamplighter is because in the darkest hours, I allow people to see where they're going. I'll never take another job. I love this. I light the way for everyone. When they feel like they can't make it, when they're relying on you to come up with some type of a cure, come up with the research, like the darkest hours. I love what I'm doing. Are you a lamplighter, or are you putting out people's flames? Are you a hater? Yeah, I know, but nope, we don't want you. Nope, we don't want you. My flame's bright enough. We don't need you either. Or do you want this thing to, next level? I'm telling you, be a lamplighter. Be a lamplighter when you come into work every single day. Be a lamplighter when you're at home with your family. Be a lamplighter when you're in the streets out here in the community. You make sure that you're lighting everybody's lamp so that this thing can function at the highest level it's supposed to. I'm talking about sweetness. Next level. Whenever you allow yourself to dilute yourself, you ain't reaching the promised land. It's too sweet, baby. You got access to it. You need to get there. Understand who you are and what you got. Enlighten, blaze the trail as you continue to move forward. You got to understand that diversity and inclusion, it creates a high-performing work environment. So some of you guys right now, you may be thinking like, well, I want to grow in this area, I want to do it here. Yeah, some of y'all may be thinking that, well, my team's put together a tool. It's called the GPS. If you're looking to grow and to rise, it's a free tool. We'll give it to you for free. You just go simply to isaacbutts.com/the GPS. You can download it for free. Plug in where you're trying to go. Plug in how you're trying to next level. Plug in how you're trying to next level the person next to you. 30 days, I guarantee you'll get there. You got to be willing to understand that diversity and inclusion is the key to success. Thank you, guys. That's my time. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. That was a powerful message. So, I'm going to open the floor for any questions that you may have. Oh, we have one front row.
Hi, I'm a teacher at Southridge High School, and I want to thank PNNL for this opportunity for teachers like me to come and work during summer. So I'm here as an alternate sponsored fellow with Murdoch Partners in Science Fellowship. This is a very powerful message for our students and, of course, for all of you here. And I want to take this message and invite everybody in this room to make a will to reach out every single school during this next school year, go to their science teachers, give 1 hour of your life to our students so that our textbooks picture of a scientist as an old man with glasses and a lab coat gets demolished. I want to request you to remember that one of the drawbacks of scientists, and I'm a scientist, I have a PhD from Texas A&M University in bioorganic chemistry. I was a full-time mom for 14 years, and I decided to become a science teacher. So one of the drawbacks of scientists is we are so involved in the joy of our discoveries, we forget to communicate with the regular world. And one of the problems we're having in today's world is scientists are not communicating. I tell my students, I said, we've screwed up the world. You are going to fix the world. Help me. Come to our classes so our students can fix the world. Thank you, and thank you, Isaac.
Is there any other questions? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Oh, okay. Oh, she's coming.
Middle name. Oh. What's your middle name?
My middle name?
Yeah.
Seymour. I'm lying.
Oh.
Y'all felt bad for me. I was like, oh, your parents are horrible. I mean, you know, that's not really important, right? No, it's Benjamin. I'm named after my grandfather, Benjamin. Thanks.
Isaac, how could you repair a situation that has gone wrong in spite of your sincere efforts, but you just put your foot in your mouth?
Yeah.
How can you repair that?
Man, moments like that are honestly, it's up to the person that's been hurt, you know what I mean? You can't try to force your way into those situations and try to repair them. What you can do at that moment, once you realize, like, yo, I messed up, you can turn the corner at that moment. And you can make sure that every single interaction, every single moment that you have with that individual, they don't even have an opportunity to continue to add on to what you've done, right? And you treat them with respect, with kindness. Invite them into conversations, invite them into meetings. If you are in meetings, ask for their opinion, be genuine about it. But, you know, only in those moments is where you can really repair. It's just going to take time, but it's on their time. You're the one that messed up, so you at their mercy now.
Isaac, you do a lot of work with kids, youth, and everything. Are there opportunities coming up that you're looking for volunteers that maybe people would be interested in?
Oh, yeah, always. Our nonprofit, we're continuing to try to grow. I love our nonprofit because it's a very diverse group. I thought I knew everything, but I was like, no, you don't. So we brought in, I mean, we have a wide age range. We have it just looks like heaven, man. Everybody's different, right? So it's perfect. So if you do want opportunities to come work with us, we have events that are coming up, and we'd be more than happy to reach out to you. Honestly, if you just reach out to me at Oh, it's not on there. IsaacButts.com. There's a section there where you can, or you can just go to wakeupnation.org to our nonprofit page. And right there, there's a volunteer section. You can put your background and what you'd like to do. But we'd love that. We'd love the feedback.
Isaac, while you're out saving the world and helping the world and out inspiring others on a daily basis, who do you get inspiration from?
Oh, that's good. You know, there's a lot of people. You know, for me, I'm really grounded in my faith. So, you know, I look up every day to get what I need. At the same time, there are people like my father, my mother, who's gone through crazy things. Getting laid off here, what was that? That was the big layoffs at Hanford in like 2006 or something like that, where a lot of people got laid off, going through that experience, not being able to get hired out, moving to Oakland to work at Jamba Juice. She was a manager at Jamba's, multiple degrees, went there, got another master's degree, and came back here and working HR somewhere out here. But seeing those types of resilient moments in my family's life, and understanding as I'm getting older who I am, it's empowering, and that's what keeps me going. That's what drives me.
Hello? Hello? Hi, my name is Carolyn Nugent.
Yes! I knew it! He did it wrong!
It was me, yeah.
I wasn't wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I've been called it all.
He was wrong.
It was wrong.
Knew it.
My middle name was actually, before I got married, spelled D-O-N-G. So you can only imagine the repercussions of that from my parents. It means winter, but it looks really bad. I want to know, because you're a father now, what are you doing to make sure that your son is very inclusive and understands all of the different races, genders, everything? I'm a mom of two.
You know, he's 2 right now, so like, for little kids, everybody's cool right now, right? He'll talk to anybody. I think right now, for me, at the age that he's at, I'm just trying to make sure he knows who he is right now, for me personally. So, you know, his mom, her family is from Nazareth, so I want him to understand his Middle Eastern background, what that means. I want him to understand his blackness, what being an African American means. His mom's mixed, so I also want him to understand what it means to be white in America. Like, I just want him to understand what that all looks like. So for me right now, personally, I'm just trying to make sure he understands himself. As he continues to grow, honestly, the best thing I can do is to continue to grow in who I am, because how is he going to know how to treat somebody else? How is he going to know how to be inclusive? How is he going to know how to understand diversity if me, myself, ain't marching to that drum? So for me, and I say this literally everywhere I go, I love speaking to the older generation. It's up to y'all. They're looking at you and seeing what you're doing to understand the path that they got to take. Some kids, it's a small percentage, they figure it out on their own. You see that. There's probably some people in here. They figure it out on their own. But for the overwhelming population, they're looking at you to see what you're doing. So you got to make sure that you're handling business every single day. And to me, that's how you wake up a nation.
Hey, can you explain the logo?
This one?
The lion with the crown.
Ah, yes. Man, when I first started this thing, I was like, you got to be a beast if you're going to make this work. Like, you got to have the heart of a lion. It's a different level. It's a different type of mentality that you got to walk with every single day. If you're really going to make this work, if it's going to blow up, if you're going to really wake up a nation, like, you take everything. What you want, what you got, you understand your value. You don't let anybody tell you anything different. You walk around with that mentality. You know who you are. So that's what that's all about. We're all kings. We're all queens. We just got to understand who we are and what we bring to the table.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the Black Community Connection, we thank you, Isaac, for giving us that powerful message.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Has to leave here with PNNL swag. It won't be right. So next, our event is Taste of Soul, which is the soul food potluck. They need a couple more minutes to set up, so I want everyone to get up, and we're gonna walk next door because we have vendors set up, and we're gonna start the line next door, and then we're gonna push these walls back, and then we're gonna serve the food.